Hello and welcome to Criterion Planner's instructional video series. I'm Thom York, and today we will demonstrate basic map navigation in a SPARC index instance. The intended audience for this video is everyone, and especially those non-technical, non-GIS users who want to explore maps created in SPARC Index by others. Now, SPARC Index is a cloud-based application that's accessible from all major browsers. So I'm just going to launch Google Chrome here, and the URL is your instance name .sparkdata.com. If you are already logged in, you'll be taken to the home page. If you aren't and you enter that thing, you'll be required to log in. You can use the register button and submit information for approval in order to get an account required for your instance. So I click the login button after entering my username and password, and you'll see that immediately you're brought to a web map. Since this is web-based, the decision was made to make this as close as possible to a user's Google Maps experience, since that's something that many people are familiar with. And so even those of you who are familiar with Google Maps will benefit from this tutorial, because you'll see that there's a number of other little productivity hints and tips that will make your experience better. The first thing you'll notice on the left-hand side is this table of contents. Right now we've got the instance's so-called maximum geographic boundary. It is always in display, and you don't have the ability to move outside of it. It's established for optimization purposes. And so you can adjust the background map by expanding the base layer area, and the default you'll always see is Google Hybrid, but you can always get access to a familiar Google Streets look, as well as the satellite view, and then a more basic Google Terrain view. Of course, you're not limited to just Google views. There's also an OpenStreetMap view, and then a basic background, which is useful when you have a lot of detailed data. Also within the table of contents is a My Map section, which we'll see in a little bit. And then the main area that you work within, one of the main areas, is this Plan Elements hierarchy. And if you just drill down, you'll notice that every one of these main nodes has a series of subnodes, sometimes just general, sometimes other items other than general. And if you continue to drill down through them, you'll eventually get to planning layer field definitions and the contents of those. And so here's an example of, in this case, a city boundaries layer that has been rendered when you expanded it. To turn layers on and off, you can use the checkbox to do so. Sometimes you have a whole bunch of them, and so in that case, and this is a very useful tip, is to right-click on the parent of a set of checkboxes, the planning layer field definition, and choose toggle layer visibility. So that's how you can quickly turn on and off layers. Sometimes you'll have expanded or collapsed things, and you'll have layers up, and you look over in the TOC and they're not sort of readily available, and you're like, well, how do I turn those off or on? In the top right, you'll see a sort of an active layers, as it's called, TOC, and so anything that's visible or has been turned on or off will be here, and so you're able to come in and override things just in case you can't find where you were in the TOC.